Hello and welcome to the Expression Library tutorial series, episode 11. So this is the last episode on this and we're going to be talking through importing and exporting your expression library. So I have an expression library here that I created earlier. It's got a scale expression, a position expression and a zero rotation expression. So what I'm going to do is actually come over to here and click the export menu. Don't need this, I can clear that. So inside here, I have all my expressions that I've made previously. You can see them, they're identical. This is my expression library. On the right side is my export expression library. So, for example, if I want to add my scale by slider into my export library, I just click the plus here and that's going to add it across. However, there is going to be a message pop up. So to explain what this message is basically doing is when you export your expression to share with other people, you're going to be creating a file that they can import. Now then, if they import your expressions, they can also export your expressions. However, this stops that. Basically what this applies, it applies a lock to your expression that once someone's downloaded it, they cannot export that expression into their own expression file. So this is really handy if you had, say, for a select subscriber list who subscribe to you. You could create a bunch of expressions for them, lock them all, so that they can't share them with other people. It can be really handy. Sometimes you might not need it, so it is a choice here. So for all of these examples that I'm going to do right now, I'm going to select no, don't lock them, as we just want to show you the export and import functionality. So we're going to click no. That's then going to add that selected expression into our export folder. Now we're going to add the P slider and add that in and click no. And now we have two lots of expressions, the scale and position. We're going to export this library and we're going to export this under an expression library. We can name this, so we're going to call this Bear Studios Awesome Work. Save it. This comes up with an error, however it's not actually an error. It comes up with that it's been successfully created. Bear that in mind when you read some of these error messages. They do come up with errors, but they are just telling you what's happened. So this has told me that in my documents, Bear Studios Awesome Work has been created. So let's head over to my Finder, open up my documents, and you will see that I've got this new file, Bear Studios Awesome Work.expression library. So let's import that quickly. So to import, we'll click this button over here to import your library. You then head to where the document's been saved and you click open. Now then, what's happened here is basically I already have the items in that library already in my library. So if I click no, nothing's going to happen. The expression is not going to be added because I already have a file there. So what I can do is I can add this and click yes, and it will allow me to rename this expression so I can add it to my library. So let's click no. I'm not going to add it, and we'll get another one because there's another expression. We're going to click no, and nothing's been added, nothing's been changed. My library is exactly the same. This time I'm going to import it, but I'm going to change the first file's name to, right now it's scale by slider. I want to call it scale by slider version 2. Click OK, and then for the second one, I don't want to import it. I don't want it. I've already got something named the same thing. I'm going to click no. When I go in here now, under my scale, I'm going to have my original scale by slider and my scale by slider version 2 that's just been added. So let's actually do another export. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to export everything but click yes. Okay, so in here you'll see scale by scale, the rotation, add this in, click yes. But on the rotate to comp, I'm actually going to select no. That's all in there. Everything's done. And we're going to click export. On the export, we're going to replace the file that already exists, replace it, everything's been saved, all done, and we're going to delete my current library. So now my library's gone. Perfect. Well, maybe not so. I mean, it's pretty sad to be honest. We're going to open this one, and inside here we have our scale, position, and the rotation. So now that these have all been imported, and I locked the first three and not the last one, I'm going to show you what happens when I try to add a locked expression into my export. Here's my scale by slider, what is locked. If I click add, it's going to say error, the expression file is locked. The expression file you are trying to add to your export is locked and cannot be exported. Simply means they cannot export that file. My rotation to comp, however, is absolutely fine. It wasn't locked, so I can add that to my export library and export that if I would like to. Once you've imported a library, it's extremely easy to use. Same as normal, but we went over in previous episodes on how to use it. Let's add a bunch of these cool things to my current layer. So I want P slider. So right now that's taking the position and adjusting the position by 2 sliders. I'm going to apply that. The rotate to comp is taking the X position of where it is and rotating it equivalently, so we're going to take that. And I'm going to use scale by slider. Great, perfect. That's added a bunch of expressions to my layer. I come up here and I have my X position. Great, that's working perfectly. And the rotation is working, that's all applied. So if I was to do more or less or whatever, it's going to adjust based on its position inside the comp to where it should rotate. So if it's less than, it's going to stop. If it's inside, it's going to rotate. If it's outside, it's going to stop. I'm going to mess with the Y position to make sure that's connected. I'm then going to say, right, I want it to be a 50% scale. Turn the checkbox on. Oh, there we go. Now it's all scaling correctly as well. Can make it smaller or larger. Everything else is still working. So let's say, for example, we don't like the scale. I don't want that anymore. So I can come over here, select the scale, click delete, and that's going to remove the scale from my property. And we're done. You know what, actually, I don't want to adjust the position like this. I'm going to delete that as well. Let's remove the position. Now we just have a rotating object based on its position, not controlled by anything other than just its position. Amazing. And that is Expression Library. A very easy way to work with current expressions. Quickly apply, delete, remove, add, manipulate, add sliders, add expression controls, add master layers, everything that you've ever wanted to do with expressions in one panel.